Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Shredcraft RC, and I'm Cam, and today we will be building another ReveD RDX. So this was kind of my proof of concept chassis, called it the Manta. I had a lot of requests asking when or if this chassis will be sold, and at the time being, I'm busy with some other stuff, so this is kind of on hold as far as production and selling them, but in the future, it could be a possibility. So this car I've pretty dialed in and tuned, and I've changed the knuckles, and I've added tie rods on everything so I can make adjustments, and then it's running the AccuVance electronics on it. So on this one that I picked up last night down at my local track, Scale Science, figured I would build it stock and maybe just tune the shocks because we're going to start running an outdoor series here. So I wanted to have an outside car, and the ReveD RDX just wasn't doing it for me. I really liked the ReveD RDX, and as you can see, this is a brand new sealed box. So I'm going to pop it open, we'll do the unboxing here, and then I will update you guys on the little tips and tricks that I do when I'm building a new chassis. This one I want to keep as a inside car, kind of for the Scale Science track, and then this will be an outside kind of like basher car. So we'll go ahead and get this box open, and I'll give you some tips and tricks along the way. Alright, so box is open. First thing I'll do is kind of set this stuff aside, and then you're going to want to pull out the instruction manual here and see where you're going to start. Smart thing to do would be to check all the bags and the quantities, but in my experience these have been pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and get this steering system built, the wipers and everything assembled. We'll probably do a time lapse for the building stuff because there's nothing too technical here. It's just kind of putting everything together, and then yeah, we'll come back to you as we start getting some of these bags open. So I'll go ahead and open those up. Here we have bag 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll go ahead and start assembling the chassis. So got the front bulkhead built here, and then I wanted to show you a little pro tip is using 2mm shims. These are actually little cap washers. They fit right over the indent, and that raises the shock tower and then reduces droop on the shock. It just works well with this chassis, so little tip for you. And this is what it looks like when it's installed. Moving on to the rear toe blocks here, I wanted to show you what I did. First of all, I shimmed this back arm mount so there's no more play in that arm, and it's a lot more solid instead of wiggling around. And then on mounting these, I used no spacer on this front toe block, a 1mm spacer in this middle mount, and then the 2mm shims provided on this rear mount. So that gives you a pro squat setup where you can see this rear block is sitting up higher than the front block, and that's just kind of something I do to all my cars. So you can see the arms move nice and freely here with no wiggle room. And then we have the pro squat, as it's called, having this rear block raised from the front block. So a little pro tip there. And then now I'll move on to the diff. And on this car I'm going to run the stock spool so we can compare the modified car directly to the stock build. So I will get you after we get this transmission built and mounted. It's all pretty straightforward, putting bearings and idler gears in, and I will be back after that. On to bag 6 here. This is the full transmission and battery mount. Another little pro tip that I do is with all these bearings, and same thing I did on the diff, I'll do it on the hubs too, is I'll use a little dry lube, clean off all the factory packaging grease, and then put on some lube, and the bearings will spin nice and freely. So we'll get this transmission built and come back. Alright, here's the transmission. and battery mount all built. Got the spare on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and get it slapped up on the deck. After that, we're going to throw on the stock little braces here, and then we'll move on to the hubs and stuff. So another time lapse for it. Starting to look like a actual drift chassis now. I'm going to move on to the hubs. I got the bearings soaking in some lube. Got the hubs here, hub spacers, CDVs, and then the pins. So I'll time lapse that, get those going, and then I'll be on to the front. Got the rear end just about complete here. You can see the only thing I did different was I added 2mm shims here on the end of the shock mount, and that's going to allow the shock to sit more vertical. It's just something I've done on my other cars, so I'm going to try it out here. Those will be the only modifications on this car, just the spacers on the shock towers. We're going to move on. We got the front arm set up here. This is a pretty simple and awesome setup. You have these mini pieces of all thread, and then we're going to add a 1mm spacer in between the arm and that, and it will be assembled like that. So I'm going to go ahead, get those together, and then I'll throw them on the front end there. Got the bearings soaking just like the other ones, and we'll move on to the next step. The chassis is complete, and we're moving on to building the shock. And here we have the shafts, the E-clips, the pistons, the sleeves, caps, the adjusters, the bodies, the bottoms, and then the O-rings, which I have marinating in some silicone grease right now. So I'm going to build the pistons, leave everything stock holes, and then I'm going to show you the differences between all these oils. Got the shock bodies all built. They're here in the stand ready to be filled. And then I have all these different oils from all the different manufacturers. This is what the RDX comes with stock. What I've noticed is this is way too watery. It might work good for polished concrete, but way too thin, super bouncy. And then we have the Red Cat oil here. And you can kind of see the 25 is a little thicker, not by much. And then this is a Yokomo 300, and this almost looks just as watery as the 20, kind of maybe an in between the 20 and the 50. And then this is an Associated 30, and this starts to have a little bit thicker viscosity. So I'm thinking this is what I'm going to use. This is a Traxxas unmarked bottle. I believe this is their 35. And you can see it is a little thicker. And then this is RC 4-wheel drive kind of crawler oil, and this is a 35, so it's definitely thicker. For these shocks, since I know how they act with the 50 and this is too thin, I'm gonna go with the 30 and probably the Traxxas 35. And I'm gonna put the lighter oil in the rear shocks so they can move more. And then the front, I'm going to use the thicker oil to slow down the movement with the shocks, because I know that the stock springs are pretty stiff on the RDX. So I'm going to get to filling these, bleeding them. I'll bleed one on camera and show you how, when you bleed it, you compress it all the way so all the air is out, and then you kind of want a dead shock is going to give you the most consistent movement. Some people like bleeding the shock with the shaft all the way out, but then you have the chance of having an air cushion on top, and it will make the shock stiffer, but I prefer the dead shock with the shaft all the way in. So I'll show you that when I get there. So once all the air bubbles are out of the shock, you can move it and they'll give you a feeling of how the dampening action will work. And then you'll take one of the bladders and slide it on top. You'll take a top cap, seat it onto the top of the diaphragm, and then you'll take a cap, put it over both of those, and begin to thread it down, making sure not to cross thread it. And then what I like to do is get a piece of paper towel, wrap it around the shock body here, and then push the shaft all the way up, and you can hold it there, wiggle the top cap to get those air bubbles out, and then begin to thread it down. And these don't need to be super tight, just enough to seal the rubber diaphragm in there. You can see some excess leaks out of the top there. And then you can see the shock returns back up. And that's about where I like them. So I'm going to go ahead and do these other 4, and then we'll get them on the car. So the suspension's on and the chassis is complete. I've started adding electronics, kind of figuring out where I'm going to want stuff to go. I have the motor position up high, so this will go up top. And then for the ESC, there is an ESC plate that just slides back in here for a rear mount, which is super nice. But on this build, I think I'm going to mount the ESC on this giant battery cover because I've raised the roll center of these arms, so the car will roll more. And being an outside car, I think having more traction, that's going to be beneficial. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything placed up here, and then we'll pick out a body and some wheels to go on this thing. I will show you what it looks like when we're just about done. The final product of the RDX. I put the old Lamborghini body on. I cut a big hole up here because the ESC is going to be center mounted now, and there wasn't room for the high motor to stick out, so I'm going to have to figure out something to cover this area. Tried to tuck the wires as best I could. Got the endpoints all set, and I think this thing's ready to test. So the only things I changed were the rear arm positions here, and I just raised them both equally to raise the roll center to allow the chassis to roll more. So that was my theory there. Using stock body post locations, I did take the spacer out of the front because I flipped the lower arm mount here, so that actually lowered the arm position in the front, and then it seems like the shocks like that position better. Still has droop, still has compression. The rear on these always seems stiff. It works for this car, so I'll try that out, see how it does. And then the spool's in, so we'll see how that does compared to the other car. So there's both cars next to each other. You can see the differences. And I think I'm going to keep this one stock so I have a comparison to the hopped up version with all the parts and stuff that I've been playing with on this car, including the knuckles and the steering and everything that's different from the stock setup. So I wanted to compare the two on the scales. So this is my prototype deck Demanta with a battery. There are the numbers. So 1,222 grams. And now put on a stock RDX. So there's the stock RDX. It's actually lighter, which makes sense because this deck is actually 100 grams. This one's a little more with the dash, but so there are those numbers. I put the stock RDX on the alignment rack. Since it's non-adjustable, you can kind of see what the box stock settings are here. So in the rear for camber, it looks like we are at -3.5, -4 degrees, both sides. On the front, it's right about 9.5, 10 degrees of camber on both wheels. And then each wheel has 3 degrees of toe out on each side. And then there is toe in at the rear there. So that is the stock alignment. We can check caster real quick here. So we're probably 5 or 6 degrees there. Really actually great alignment settings out of the box. You don't really need to change anything on this car to have a good capable sliding machine. So I'm really interested to see how the center mounted ESC, the higher roll center in the rear, and then the lower kind of roll center in the front. Interested to see how that drives compared to this car, where I've changed a lot of things. And this also has a CLSD. This is going to run the stock spool. Thinking that'll be better for outside for more traction. I'll be sure to make videos when this car hits the asphalt and keep you guys all updated. But I appreciate you checking out the video, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. Have some more RC drift content coming out in the future. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.